You are entering the bonus stage, a podcast produced in association with oceanofbees.com, with your host Marauder,
Phoenix923,
a podcast for all gamers,
console and PC alike.
Welcome to Bonus Stage.
Hello and welcome to Bonus Stage, the podcast produced in association with oceanofbees.com. As always, I am your host Marauder, and with me once again is my co-host Phoenix923.
Greetings, everybody.
Now, this episode's special because he's not sitting next to me, which is fantastic because I can make facial expressions out of him the whole time and he doesn't even know.
And I can flip you off the entire time and he would be none the wiser.
No, I can see you when you do that. I have my ways.
Aww.
No, but we're doing this over Skype simply for convenience sake. Usually we get together and actually sit down and record it, but
due to real-life constraints,
yes,
a.k.a. me going to college.
Yes, due to life getting in the way for both of us.
I have little time to go over and do this, so hey.
But that's okay.
What can you do?
Through the wonders of Skype and Windows, here we are. Anyway, so let's jump right into it by checking out what is new on oceanofbees.com. Again, if you guys want to check out any of these videos I'm about to mention, you can go over to oceanofbees.com. It's right on the page right in front of you. And I highly suggest you do, because there's a lot of really good stuff. Alrighty. Let me, oh, there's a new one that apparently just got posted today. Fantastic. Okay, so, when was the last time we did this podcast? Because I bet
Did you say like a month ago?
Yeah, I think everything on the front page is new as of right now. So we'll just go from the bottom up. Alright, in starting with the new videos, there is a new one from Cheapy. Playing for Cheap, A Day in the Life. Basically, it's a video just explaining why he hasn't made videos in a while. It is quite entertaining, so go check it out. Next video is Off the Chain Episode 6. Another one where Nigel Burns shows off a piece of his keychain collection. As always, entertaining, very short.
You gotta say it like Nigel Burns.
Nigel Burns, yes. Fantastic video. The next two are both from Josh DeFeo, and where he plays the games Super Dunk and Jump Cat. I don't know what exactly he's going for in these kind of videos, because he's basically just taking his camcorder or whatever he's using to record and pointing it at his computer screen. It's kind of strange, to be completely honest. Because he doesn't quite get it completely in frame. He just kind of... I don't know if it's an artistic choice.
Well, especially because there's, a couple free programs you can go out and get to record your screen as well.
Yeah, it's like... he could go that route if he wanted to, but...
He probably just doesn't know about them.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, they're still fun. And, yeah, so do check them out. The next one is... Oh, my video of Awesome Possum.
Awesome Possum kicks Dr. Machino's butt.
No, it's Awesome Possum trademark kicks Dr. Machino's trademark butt. Get it right. It is a pretty horrendous Sonic clone, and that's a review I'm particularly proud of, because I'm trying to alter my review style a bit, and I think that came out quite well.
So when's that new opening gonna come?
I'm working on it right now, actually. I had to clear out some space on my hard drive first to be able to get all the video files back on it so that I could edit all. It's a mess. But as soon as I have some free time, probably Sunday night, I'll get around to it. Anyway, the next video is from the PC Inspector, and it's the Inspector Online, Left 4 Dead 2, Episode 12. Again, he jumps on a multiplayer game and tries to have a polite conversation, and it's not...
People spat back in the face.
People spat back in the face, that is correct. Alright, next one is Josh Plays Laser Dolphin, which is probably the greatest title for a video game ever. And again,
I thought Techno Kitten Adventure was the greatest title ever.
Oh God, I forgot about Techno Kitten Adventure. Techno Kitten Adventure is just a great game. Period. But yes, it's also quite a good title. So yeah, if you want to see that, it's also pretty funny. Let's see. The next video is Marauder's bonus adventure, Marauder's Alphabet. This is a very fun thing that I attempted, where I go through each letter of the English alphabet from A to Z and try to find a game within my game collection that starts with that letter. So, very fun, and I suggest anybody who has a large game collection like I do, try it. It's actually kind of fun what you'll come up with for the various letters. And it's a pretty short video, so do go check it out. It's fun. Let's see. The next video is the PC Inspector's favorite online player, People's Choice. And, wow. I don't know what to say about that guy, because I forget the guy's name, but he was from a Team Fortress 2 video he did a while back. And he is just hilarious. I'm very glad he won. That's who I voted for. And the newest video, which I have not had time to watch because it literally just popped up on the site, is Raving Reviews End of Watch. Ocean of Bees would like to welcome Film Breaker into our family and assure him that we are not messing with his brain, unlike the movie he just watched. Apparently, it's a movie review series. Great, I have more competition. So, do check that out, of course. Alright, moving on to the blogs. There is a whole bunch of new blogs. Actually, I think just two, by the looks of it. One of them is, well, both of them are movie reviews. One is my review of 3 movies at once: The Apparition, Branded, and The Possession. If you guys have any interest in any of those, do check them out. I can't recommend anything but The Possession, I guess. I don't know, but do read them. They're quite informative. And the latest blog is my movie review of Dread 3D and Taken 2. So if you guys want to know what I thought about those movies, do check it out. Other than that, that is everything that is new on oceanofbees.com. Okay, now that we're done talking about what's new on oceanofbees.com, we're actually joined by Jab from the site again, also known as the PC Inspector, etc., etc., etc.
I've been flown in at the last minute at great expense.
Cost us all the push of a button.
Hey, pushing that button was hard.
I know.
You've shattered the illusion, though.
I know, it was all sticky. It's like if people were eating like Cheetos and then playing Xbox and all the buttons get gummy. I don't know why you would do that, but people do that.
Whenever I ask an American person if they eat Cheetos or any other cheese-based snack, they tell me that they prefer Funyuns.
I've never met anybody who likes Funyuns. I don't even like Funyuns, and I'm not a picky person.
I'm okay with the Funyuns. It's just I can't have them in large quantities.
But nothing beats King Curls.
Ooh, no. Nothing does.
Well, I apologise for derailing the conversation.
That's okay. I like Funyuns. They're fun.
What?
Should we do an entire podcast
talking
on
about the crap
Funyuns?
we're getting on our controllers. Come on.
That's totally
on topic.
relevant. That's totally relevant.
Yeah, we could do an entire podcast on that.
Just gaming snacks.
Cleaning out your controllers and keyboards.
No, that's one thing I'm getting into, is just disassembling my stuff and actually like deep cleaning it a lot of times. And it's amazing the kind of condition I get some stuff in. But yeah, some of them just...
All those dead skin cells inside the ridges of the controller.
Oh, I know, isn't that the worst?
Nintendo 64 controllers I found to be the worst for that.
Well, then you got that powder to contend with. That's like the joystick grinding away at the base. Which, actually, I watched an interesting video on how to fix that, where the guy literally just took the controller apart and put epoxy in the bottom of the cup, and it tightened the joystick back up. Yeah, interesting.
And how long ago was that video?
That I watched it?
How long ago was it made?
I don't recall. I watched it a couple
I'd
weeks ago.
imagine probably not when the N64 was in its prime.
Oh, no. That it was probably, I'm guessing 2011.
Yeah, I think he's missed the boat a bit there.
Yeah. Well, that's the worst. I don't understand how they built a controller that way and didn't think about the joysticks wearing out like that.
They didn't have Mario Party made by then.
That's true. It's terrible. Alright, well, we're going to move on to our topic of discussion that doesn't involve Cheetos or Mario Party.
Oh.
I know. Well, that's okay. You can still eat Cheetos and play Mario Party while we talk about this. The topic I want to bring up is just the fact that a news report came out recently that says that Capcom actually has the DLC for the Resident Evil 6 game on the disc. Now, this is something that they've done with other games, having downloadable content on the disc. They've done it before with Resident Evil 5, and they've done it with Tekken X Street Fighter, or Tekken Cross Street Fighter Cross Tekken, whatever you call it.
Up to their old tricks again.
Yeah, apparently. So
Sitting in their corporate offices twirling their mustache.
we got a whole $5 for something we didn't even have to put work into.
We hit it right under their noses.
Yes. Now, DLC is nothing new. I get DLC. The fact that when you buy a game, essentially you're not buying a complete game ever anymore. But, you know...
Sucks.
Yeah, but, you know, I can understand it to a certain degree with certain companies. Like, you know, buying map packs and extra little tidbits that you don't necessarily need, but they do add to the game.
Map packs are fine, but there's no point spending loads of time on maps if you're not even sure how well a game's going to do in the multiplayer community.
Oh yeah, map packs I'm okay with, like I said, because if you're like me and you don't like the multiplayer in a lot of games, you're not going to end up spending all the money on the extra maps anyway. So.
Yeah, it should represent extra work they've done after the game was released, though.
Right, and that's exactly my point, is with the DLC being on the disc in the case of Resident Evil 6, it's done, essentially. And it's on
done,
the disc.
it's on the disc, and you can't get to it even though you perfectly bought it.
So that means at some point during the game's development, they stopped what they were doing, they finished the game proper, and they said to themselves, okay, we've done enough to justify the $60 price tag. Now let's work on some DLC, and then they put it on the disc. So when you, quote-unquote, buy the content from Capcom, you're not technically downloading the content, you're downloading the license to...
The unlock key.
Yeah, the key to unlock what's already on the disc.
Or they just didn't have any ideas for DLC, and they thought, okay, we're going to need some DLC here, let's lock out a piece of this game we've already made.
That very well could be. They might have just gotten the entire game done and then been like, okay, we need something to charge extra for, let's just lock this away.
We need something to pinch their pockets with. Come on.
It is by far the most infuriating thing a company can do. And as far as I'm concerned, and I've said this before, I mean, my loyalty to Capcom has been broken already, but the fact that they continue to do this kind of business just proves to me that they're not the company I thought they were. And when did I stop? Oh, it's when they canceled Mega Man Legends 3 and then blamed the fans for the cancellation.
How did they justify that?
They said that they canceled the game, and then I forget who said it on Twitter, but I think it was one of the executive producers of the game said that the reason that they canceled it was because the fans didn't want it bad enough.
You want to know something, Capcom? I would have bought the game well before I would have gotten a 3DS.
I bought a 3DS
So thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
What did they expect the fans to do exactly?
Well, see, that's the thing. The way they set Mega Man Legends 3 up was that it was supposed to be a community-driven game. You would join a website, and you would vote on certain art, and you would give suggestions on how the game should progress. And basically it was going to be built by the fans. And I was on the website from time to time voting on things and checking things out because I really wanted this game to come to light. And apparently they didn't feel they were getting enough support to justify actually putting the game out. So at that point I just... Oh, and then KJ Inafune left. The creator of Mega Man actually left the company sometime before they canceled the game. And they said that even though he left, they were going to keep working on it, and they were dedicated to getting it done, and they were going to get it out, and they promised to have it done, and then they canceled it.
So it was less the fans' fault and more they were just bad at marketing.
Could be, yeah. But
I would say it's bad at marketing because I had no idea of this whole community website thing. If I did, I would have totally have participated.
yeah, because I said that to you when they canceled it. I said, "Hey, I can't get on the website anymore to even do anything," and you're like, "What website?"
Mm-hmm.
You know,
People have proved that they will help with things. All these fundraising websites like Kickstarter and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Especially something with such a huge pre-existing fan base. You'd think with minimal effort they could have got loads of people involved in that.
Yeah. I mean, Mega Man Legends is what made me a fan of not only Mega Man, but Capcom as a company. Because when I first got my PlayStation 1 back in high school, I picked up a copy of Mega Man Legends 2 at a local Blockbuster for like $10 or so. And I fell in love with that game.
Yep, that's one of my all-time favorites on the PlayStation as well. I got both the first and second one.
Yeah, I'm looking for the first, but it's expensive as hell. But I have the second one, and I love the second one. And ever since then, I had been a Capcom fan. I actually went back and started buying the old NES Mega Man games and trying to find the Super Nintendo Mega Man games. And I've started playing Mega Man X on PSP and Super Nintendo. And, I mean, Mega Man is one of my favorite characters of all time now. And so when they announced that Mega Man Legends 3 was coming out for the 3DS, I pre-ordered a 3DS. I wasn't going to until they said, by the way, it's coming out on 3DS. Okay, sold. Done. Thank you. But, I mean, that's just a little bit of what they've been doing. They also did, they released Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition when they said they wouldn't, which really pissed me off because I just bought Super Street Fighter 4 only to have them release Arcade Edition, which confused me.
And then they released the Ultimate Edition?
No. And then they released Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which I went out and bought day one, and they said that there wasn't going to be an Ultimate version, that they were just going to put character packs out, which I hate buying characters in a fighting game. I don't think that's right. I really think that it's unfair for one person to have more characters than the other person in the game just because they spent $5 more than you. But whatever, I like Marvel vs. Capcom, so I bought it anyway. And then, I think it was not even 6 months after the game was out, they launched Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And all of the characters that were planned for DLC for the first game were canceled and moved just to the Ultimate version. And
Maybe it's just me, but I don't think improving a game warrants a brand new release.
Not anymore, no.
There's some games on PC like The Witcher and The Witcher 2, both originally released and then they came out with the enhanced editions, both of them. And if you already owned the old version, then you could just have all the new content for free downloaded.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be like.
Exactly. I mean, if I get putting the disc out, for people who don't already have the game, but then...
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, but then people who have the older game that want to play with the newer people, I don't see the problem there. Well, yeah, so they released Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and canceled all the DLC for the first game. And then there was Street Fighter Cross Tekken that came out, and that had all the DLC already on the disc. And when they were questioned about that, Capcom said they had no choice, that they had to put it on the disc because it made it easier to do. And I'm like, of course it's easier. You're done with it. All you have to do is launch the unlock code on your website like the day of. You don't have to put any thought into it. And I remember there was a video where, I think his name is Angry Joe, who does some interesting interviews with Capcom. He interviewed one of them and he said, I think he was talking about Resident Evil 6, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was talking about Resident Evil 6.
Yeah, and he said, are you going to have DLC on the disc? They caught flack for it, by the way. I want to say that. Every time they do this, they catch flack for it. Resident Evil 5 had it as well, and I didn't buy Resident Evil 5 until the Game of the Year edition came out, because I didn't want to have to pay for something, that I couldn't have access to. But with the Game of the Year edition, you already get all the content anyway, so I was fine with that. They caught flack for it again when Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out, so it's not like they haven't learned. And then they do it again with Resident Evil 6. But in the video, Angry Joe said, are you going to do this because this is something we don't like? And the guy looked at him and said something generic, like, we're reviewing our DLC plans going forward or something. And it's like, oh, it's going to be on the disc. I knew right then and there it was going to be on the disc more than likely. And sure enough, a bunch of it is. It's just infuriating. You spend $60 on a game only to have it not be complete. Like, I'm just now making my amends with DLC as just a fact of life, just as a reality. But this is just underhanded as far as I'm concerned. It's insulting. So, I refuse to spend any more money on Capcom as a company until they change the way they do things. Oh, also, the fact that Capcom published my favorite PS2 game of all time, God Hand, doesn't hurt things either. But it makes it even more painful to not buy anything from them again. So.
Good job, Capcom. Way to piss off everybody.
And oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sure they're still rolling in the cash then.
Actually, no, they're posting record losses right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But Phoenix knows me and knows what a big Capcom fan I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought pretty much every Capcom game that came out.
Yep.
Even if the majority of people said it wasn't very good, I still bought it because there was something about their games that I liked. And it's, I'm just done. I'm just tired of being stepped on and expected to just accept it. So.
Yeah, the only Capcom stuff that I'm gonna probably be getting is just the Professor Layton and the Phoenix Wright stuff. And that's pretty much it for me.
Professor Layton's Nintendo, though.
Yeah, but they're releasing
that
crossover.
Oh, that crossover game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably pick that up too. And I do want to get into the Phoenix Wright games because I hear they're fantastic, but some of them are ridiculously expensive.
Could be worse, they could always be acquired by EA.
I don't want them to go away, I just want them to change. I mean, yes, Capcom's not as bad as EA, I'll say that. At least EA isn't crushing every single studio they own.
I heard something interesting about EA and how as to why the companies that they acquire just go under, is that what they do is they basically take all of the money and don't give any to the developer until they've recouped their losses.
Huh.
Yeah.
So until EA sees 100% of their investment back, the developer doesn't see any money?
Yeah.
Huh. That would be interesting to look into.
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt it. That would be. I could see that happening. Yeah, I could see that happening. I don't think
EA are basically the pioneers of the shady business tactics in the games industry.
Well, just look at how many companies they've devoured and destroyed. Like, they destroyed Westwood Studios, Bullfrog, Oddworld Inhabitants. I mean, Pandemic got shut down. It's just a real shame.
It's bad things happening with BioWare now, isn't there?
Oh yeah, actually the two creators of BioWare, or founders of BioWare, actually quit. But
Bad sign.
I don't think they left for any reason that EA gave them. I honestly think they just probably got sick of working on games. You know, I don't think it was any more fun for them, so I think they just stopped.
Especially with Big Brother EA always breathing down their back.
Yeah. That was actually one thing that shocked me was when BioWare was working on the Sonic Dark Brotherhood or something, or Sonic Chronicles, whatever it's called, the Sonic the Hedgehog game on DS. They were actually developing this RPG for Sega, and then EA bought them out right before the game, while the game was still in development. So they basically just shoved it out the door and called it a day. That game is horrendously bad. The music is atrocious, and the controls are god awful. I don't know what they were thinking. I was really looking forward to that game too, but
You know the Sonic cycle.
Yep, every other game is good. Or in the terms of Xbox 360 games, every 2 games there's the third one's good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of companies are doing really underhanded things. EA, for example, Capcom.
And finally Nintendo as well.
What is Nintendo doing?
They're starting to put DLC on their games that they're releasing for the 3DS.
Oh yeah. Well, see, but the only game they're doing that for right now is New Super Mario Bros. 2. That is the dumbest
Rhythm Final
thing.
Fantasy game as well.
Well, no, that's Square Enix doing that.
But Nintendo's still allowing it.
Well, yeah. That's just... They've been allowing that for a while on the Wii, too. Samba de Amigo has downloadable tracks on the Wii. I mean, it's really up to, I think, the publisher. I don't think Nintendo really has much say in it. I mean, I'm sure they get a cut, but New Super Mario Bros. 2 isn't too bad because they're only charging you I think $2 or $3 a pack for extra levels.
How many levels a pack?
I don't remember. But I mean, the game in and of itself that they give you is a full game, so it's not like I look at them like map packs. I don't look at them like something that you need to play the game.
Expansion packs, like back in the day.
Right. I look at them more like expansion packs.
Good old expansion packs.
Back where you had to put, you make a 10-hour game and then an expansion pack, here's a 2-hour side story for half the cost of the original game that you need the original game to play.
Or in the case of something like Baldur's Gate 2, here's a 50-hour game and then here's a 25-hour expansion pack.
Yeah. So, I don't think Nintendo's as bad as others at it. I hope that doesn't become a huge thing with them, though. Because with the Wii U coming out, I'm certain it'll just continue. But, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I didn't like DLC to start with anyway.
No, me neither.
I remember when
Who does like it?
Yeah, who likes DLC?
Nope.
I can't think of anyone who literally is like,
The only worthwhile DLC that I have ever bought is the Payday the Heist Wolfpack DLC.
Yeah.
I will only buy DLC if the game feels like I got more than my money's worth already. So Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3.
That was with me with Payday because by the time that DLC came out, I had already spent well over 100 hours into the game, and I had originally only paid $10 for it. So
Fallout 3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's good DLC and there's bad DLC.
Anything cosmetic, I think, is bad DLC.
Even additional weapons. There's no much point in that, really, is there? Once you've already played through the game once.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the Payday the Heist DLC gives you, is a whole new... Well, I guess it's a whole new tree.
It gives you a...
Yeah, but the whole point of that game is playing the same things over and over again in different ways.
True. I don't know,
Plus
I guess it just
gave you
depends...
2 levels.
Yeah. I guess it just depends on how... how you feel about it, but personally, I always found DLC to be just a way to irk out more money. Especially, like, they do this day one thing where, like, if you pre-order a game, you'll get, like...
some special sort of DLC that you can never get any other way.
Right.
That's the kind I absolutely hate.
Oh,
Maybe a Team Fortress 2 hat.
Yeah. Here's a Team Fortress 2 hat you'll never get otherwise. I think Pokemon Black and White did that.
Oh, I despise any Pokemon game for that reason. Okay, here's a super secret special rare Pokemon that you can only get between this date and that date, and that's it.
Yeah. I actually, when I bought Pokemon, I think I have White, I can't remember. When I bought it, I actually bought it just before the code went out, so I was able to get the code and redeem it and get my, what is it called? Some kind of ticket or something for my character that lets him go to an island to get the Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, which at first I was like, that's awesome, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, that's really underhanded. You
can't complete your game unless you buy it right now.
It used to be that DLC for a game was either free, because I remember in Total Annihilation you used to be able to get like new units and stuff for nothing, new maps. You just download them and you get them and that's it. Or they'd be full-fledged expansion packs, like I know Command and Conquer had a whole bunch that came out that I bought.
Fear 1.
Yeah, the Fear 1 DLC packs were really good. Expansion packs. The one for Fear 2 wasn't half bad.
Mm-hmm.
Just Annihilation had one pack where I think it was just like 200 new units or something on a pack. And not everyone had easy internet access back then, so that was an easy way of getting all the units without downloading them.
Yeah, there was I think they call it the Core Contingency Pack or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, just... Capcom, I get it, you want more money, I understand, but you gotta make it worth it. This is just insulting, like I said, and it's really infuriating. But I've gone on too much about this, but yeah, DLC in general I don't care for.
Yeah.
And I try to not buy it. And I'm really careful about my game purchases now for that exact reason, is I don't want to buy a game that I know I'm going to have to spend an extra $50 on just to get stuff I feel should be on the disc already, or in the game already.
Or stuff that is already on the disc already, but you have to buy it.
Yeah, especially.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind that stuff that just a generation ago on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube were unlockables. Costumes and extra characters. Now it's like, oh, well, that costs you $2.50. Well, that costs $1. Well, that costs $5. I don't understand.
If they want to charge you for unlockables to save you time of having to complete whatever task it is that you need to unlock it, that's okay. Because people have the choice then.
Right. I know Sega and Sonic All-Stars Racing, there's an option on the DLC to actually just buy everything outright. Like, you don't even have to unlock it in the game. You just pay like $5 and you get everything.
Well, that's fine, because there's always going to be some lazy people, and they're just going to give the company some more money, so everyone's happy.
Well,
Exactly.
plus it's a great way for if you like bring the game over to a party or something, or to a friend's house, you can just go and unlock everything there. You know?
Right, exactly. It's a party game, so it gives you access to all the characters and all the maps and everything just to have fun, because that's the point. So if you got the game for, say, $10 from GameStop, and you want to spend the extra $5 to just unlock everything, that's fine. But you have the option of working your way towards that reward if you want. I like how instead of getting, like, costumes or characters, you know, as rewards, we get a little pop-up that says achievement. Like, that's supposed to replace actually getting something.
I don't like that at all.
Achievement. You killed 25 enemies with a headshot.
Yeah, those little achievement pop-ups just pull me right out of the immersion of a game. If I could turn them off, I would.
That's why I like the way that Payday does it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Payday, it isn't intrusive, and I don't know, it just does it and it's done. And a lot of times you don't even know you did it till the end of the match.
Yep.
But anyway, all right. Well, moving on.
Finally.
Yes, I think finally we'll move on. All right, so we're gonna move on to games we've been playing. And Jab, since you ended up joining a bit late, you can start if you'd like.
Oh, good. Okay, mostly I've been playing Mass Effect 3. I finally got around to playing that after it's been out for quite a while. I would say if you put all the 3 games together, then it is definitely the best game of all time. But you wouldn't be able to say that about just one of the individual games, especially the last one because it relies so much on knowing everything from the first 2. But it does a really good job of making you actually care about the universe in general and all the characters. So at the end when you have to make choices, you're thinking in your mind, do I want to do this? This might be the right thing for the universe, but then this might negatively affect that character that my character has this interesting relationship with. It does a really good job making you care about everything. The gameplay is pretty good too.
Now, what did you buy Mass Effect 3 on, PC?
Yes. Thankfully I didn't own the previous 2 on Steam, so I didn't have to worry about not being able to carry my saves over. I actually have the physical copies of all of them.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, so that was a problem with some people. Which is incredibly lame.
Yeah, I heard the Steam version saves of those cannot be carried over to the Origin version, while the regular retail non-Steam versions can.
This just seems like really bad business to me.
Well, I don't see what would be so hard about it.
It's a save.
You know?
If it's some way of getting back at Steam, then you're really just costing yourself money because less people are going to buy Mass Effect 3 if they can't use their save files. They don't want to play all the other games again.
I didn't. I have Mass Effect 1 and 2 on Steam, and I played through them and I loved them. But I'm not going to buy the third one on Origin just because then I can't bring my save over, so what's the point?
Yeah, people just don't have the kind of time to play through games like that over and over and over again.
Yeah, I don't want to spend... God, I don't even know how long I spent on those games, but I don't want to do that again just to get to the new game.
It's a shame, 'cause it's definitely the best game series of all time, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I did like the first and second game a lot, but I've never gotten around to the third game.
Hopefully somewhere down the road they'll do something. Might be able to get your save files.
Well, I know there's a website you can go to that you can download other people's saves that are...
Yeah, you can kind of get close to what you had.
Yeah.
Not exactly right, though. Although, some of the decisions made in the previous games don't affect things that much. Not as much as you would think. Like, if you make a decision to kill one particular person, you play it through once, and that character's role is just taken over by somebody else who does exactly the same thing, basically. What else have I been playing? Trying 2 multiplayer. That's pretty sweet. I'm playing that with some of the other bees. It's quite a lot of fun. So I would definitely recommend people try that if you've got 2 people to play it with.
Yeah, I liked the first Trine when I played it. I haven't gotten around to the second game though.
Yeah.
It's quite a big improvement, especially with the multiplayer.
Oh, that's cool.
I know the first one had local multiplayer, I think. But who's going to cram that many people around a keyboard?
I've done it before.
I've done it.
Good old days.
It's the good old days before internet multiplayer.
Before Logitech made really good USB controllers.
Yeah, when you had to hook it up to your parallel port or your game port, try to figure out why the drivers weren't working.
Or try to just map 4 people on a keyboard.
So many people crammed down a keyboard that someone would invariably send their knee into the off button. And back in those days, they didn't have like the safety buttons where you have to hold it down for 5 seconds or something. It was just instant.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, my old Pentium 1 was that way. I think I still have my Pentium 1 actually. But yeah, it did the same thing. You hit that little power button and it just immediately turned off.
Well, that's pretty much all I've been playing recently.
Okay, so not too much.
Well, quite a lot of hours, but not that many different games.
Yeah, anytime I see you on Steam, you're usually playing Trine too, so...
And then nobody can see when I'm playing Mass Effect 3, because nobody uses Origin.
Nope.
Because it's horrible.
I used it to play the Battlefield 3 beta, and that was about it. And I didn't like it very much.
I just can't see Origin taking off at all.
It just seems convoluted.
It seems like they should just make a deal with Steam.
Plus, it's kind of hard to draw users over when Steam is always having the 75% off sales on everything.
Yeah, EA doesn't have the library that Steam has, because Steam is ubiquitous with all developers, pretty much. Whereas Origin has to go out and recruit developers. I mean, EA has a lot of games, but they're not the only game company in town, so...
They would benefit more from entering some kind of mutually beneficial relationship on Steam.
You would think. But
no, EA wanted more money. Didn't want to give Valve a cut of it.
yeah, they keep saying they started Origin to connect better with the customer. Bull. You want money. That's all you want. You looked at Valve and said, oh, well, Steam's doing fantastically well. How can we do that?
We can do that.
You know what's funny is they used Origin as the name, and Origin was a company that used to make old D&D games and such. And so when they called the service Origin, I just thought that was insulting. Just name it after a company that you took and completely dismantled. And now all you want is the name.
You could have just called it "Give us some of your money."
EA's digital wallet.
The icon's just a $100 bill.
The icon's just someone's ass with a fist in it, ripping out a $100 bill. I remember I got this email from Origin, and they're like, congratulations on being with us for 1 year. I'm like, has it really been that long? When did I play the beta? They're like, please enjoy a free game. Oh, well, I'll go download my free game. So I redeemed it, but that was about it.
So it wasn't like one of those emails. Your World of Warcraft account needs to be verified. Enter your login details here.
I get
That's
those
weird.
in
I don't even have a
Diablo
World of
3.
Warcraft account.
Yeah, I get those in Diablo 3 ones now, which is hilarious because I don't play either game. Never have.
Yeah, I got one for World of Warcraft. I'm like, I've never played World of Warcraft. I have no interest in that, so this is obviously fake. But anyway, alright, Phoenix, you want to talk about the games you've been playing?
Be quite a short list thanks to my classes, but recently the new Half Minute Hero game, well, remake, came out on Steam called Half Minute Hero Super Mega Neo Climax Ultimate Boy, which is...
Sweet.
It's an insanely fun game. Basically, what it does is each level you go through is its own RPG, and each level you have a time limit of 30 seconds to beat the evil lord to stop him from casting the world destruction spell. And of course there's things that you can do to increase the amount of time and whatnot, but I just find it really rewarding because not only do you can you like blast through these levels, but there's multiple paths you can take. There's tons of different equipment that you can find and buy. And then not only that, but there's also I think 4 or 5 other game modes of other different variations. Like there's a type of rock, paper, scissors monster game where you gotta protect something, I don't know. And then there's another one where you're a princess who has to get out of the castle, pick up the item, and come back within your curfew of 30 seconds. And it's kind of like a side-scrolling shooter. And I don't know, I just have a blast with games like that. And plus, it has this retro graphic mode where everything looks kind of 8-bit / 16-bitty, which I just adore. And I don't know, I have a blast playing it.
Yeah, that was on the PSP before, right?
It was originally on the PSP, then they brought it over to the Xbox Live Arcade, where they changed the graphics to make it look more cartoony.
Right.
And then they finally brought it over here to Steam, which I picked up day one.
Yeah, that was a PSP game that I never got around to picking up, but I always wanted to, because it looked really interesting.
I'll get the one on Steam because it has everything that was ever released, give or take a couple of modes that I never knew about, but whatever.
So anything else?
Yes. Me and you played a free pre-beta of Air Mech.
Oh yes, Air Mech. That was
which
fun.
I don't know, how did you describe it?
It's basically a 3D version of Herog's Wii on the Genesis. Herog's Wii is basically it was one of the first real-time strategy games ever made, or at least for consoles. And you could basically run around as a mech that can also become an airplane. And the objective is to capture enemy bases and basically move your forces forward across the map until you blow up the enemy's main base. And that's basically what Air Mech is. Air Mech, there's lots of other units, but I'll let you talk about it.
Well, what you do is you have control of an airplane that can transform into a mech to take out ground units. And what you do is you can press any number key to create units, whether they be tanks, soldiers, turrets, anything. And what you do is you fly over them, you pick them up with your ship. You can pick up at most 3. I know that there's other pilots that you can unlock later that will give you different abilities. But then you can just basically go and drop them off wherever you want. And the point to capture the buildings is to get your workers from, I don't know what they're called, but I just call them my workers. And what they do is they travel from your home base to whatever the nearest building is, and when 4 of them go into the building, you capture it and you can use its, I don't know, you can use it as a healing point or a more forward base to pick up your stuff you've created. But the same goes for the enemy, is that their little worker units are also walking out and capturing places as well. And it just all ends when basically you push all the way over and then drop all your units in front of their base and blow it up.
And that takes a while.
Well, I think that it took us a while, mostly in part because we kind of didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, I guess once we figured out you could block the doors of the bases with tanks, it became a lot easier.
Yep.
But no, it was fun. We played that for about 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, however long that match took, but hey, we had a blast doing it. I don't know. The last thing that I would say I've recently played was the Black Mesa Half-Life 1 mod, where these people just basically remade Half-Life 1 in the Half-Life 2 engine. It's pretty accurate to the recreation as far as I can remember. The only problem I have with it is, now I know the stupid hardcore leaders are like me about this point, but while I do know that crouch jumping was something you used a lot in Half-Life, you use it like 100 times more in Black Mesa. Like, there's jumps that I remember that I didn't even need to crouch jump for.
That's
but
weird.
I mean,
I've never used crouch jumping in Half-Life.
Well, exactly. And you know, and they're like, well, what's the problem? You can't press 2 buttons at once. I'm like, that's not the point. That's not how the original game played. I remember jumping pretty much like maybe, I don't know, 40% of my jumps, you know, pulling facts out of my ass, but, you know, a very small portion of the game where I actually had to crouch jump. But in Black Mesa, pretty much like almost every single jump you make, you have to crouch jump. And it just gets kind of annoying, to say the least.
Could that be a limitation of the Source engine? Like, the fact that they're rebuilding it in a different engine, maybe the distances are different? Or?
No, you can go inside the game files and mess with the code. You can change his jump height and everything. But, you know, after I played it a little bit, I reinstalled Half-Life 1, and I'm like, there's no way. So then I went and played through, like, you know, half an hour of Half-Life 1. I'm like, yeah, I'm jumping way higher in this game than I ever was in Black Mesa. And I don't know. I am enjoying the game. It's just, that's just my one little problem I have with it.
Well, it's not done yet, is it?
They haven't finished the Zen chapter, which is basically the final alien planet chapter.
So they could essentially go back and change the jump arc or whatever?
I don't think they're going to be honest. Which, whatever, fine, I'll deal with it, but
just kind of a shame.
For them to say that, you know, this is exactly like it was, that this is the true version of how Half-Life 1 originally was, no, it's not. It's nowhere close to.
I was going to say,
that particular mechanic.
I don't ever remember crouch jumping at all, actually.
Yeah. It was a rare thing to crouch jump in the original.
Yeah.
And like I said, you have to do it every frickin' jump in this one.
Right.
But, yeah, that's all I've been pretty much playing.
Okay.
I did just remember something else I've been playing.
Oh, do go ahead.
Yeah, me and some of the other bees finished all the community-made packs for Alien Swarm. All the ones that were in the big giant pack were downloaded. Some of the people designing them, while they kind of know what they're doing, they're not really big on the idea of difficulty escalation. It's kind of the first room you walk in, okay, now you have brain-eating parasites on everyone's head, and it's completely dark. But you don't know that you need to bring flashlights until you've already tried playing the level once. So there were some pretty good ones there, and some of them with kind of bugs where you could fall through the floor and be stuck walking around in nothing. But they were rare, and a few where you'd have no idea where you're supposed to go, and it seems like there's nowhere to go, and there's no map. But you're always going to get that with community-made stuff.
Yeah, some of the Left 4 Dead 2 maps that I've played that people make, they're just god-awful. Ain's Road Rash.
Have you played the Left 4 Dead 2 map where you're on a ship and you're kind of walking as it's on a slant the whole time?
Yes.
Yeah.
That gives me an incredibly bad headache, that part.
Yep. I think that was...
That's...
Death Abroad or something like that? Death Abroad 2?
Yeah.
Death Aboard, something like that.
Death Aboard, something.
It's a shame because some of the parts of that were good.
Yeah, overall I like that map a lot. But yeah, also there's something wrong with the graphics or something in that level, because I have my game maxed out on my PC and it does this weird red-blue light show, you know, inside the boat. So
You sure it's not just a disco boat?
yes, positive. I mean, it might be addicted to Saturday Night Fever, but I doubt it. But
Well, do you have your music turned on?
yes. But yeah, it's just some kind of weird graphical glitch.
Yeah, I heard the way to fix that is to turn down some of your shader settings, but why?
I'm not going to, though. I don't have to. You have to fix the problem.
I remember there was another map like that we played where in the finale we were on top of this metal roof, but you couldn't tell it was metal because it was just a rainbow of colors.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one. That was terrible. I mean, the map itself was great, except for that last part when it got all weird looking.
Yep.
So yeah, sometimes community-made stuff doesn't go through the most stringent of quality check.
It's usually worth a look, though.
Oh yeah, no, there's some really great stuff people make. There's more than a handful of community-made maps for Left 4 Dead 2 that I just love.
When people know what they're doing, you can sometimes get better stuff than the official releases.
Oh yeah, I mean, just look at Questionable Ethics and Questionable Ethics 2 for Left 4 Dead 2. Those maps are fantastic.
There's a ton of community-made maps on Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 that are way better than Crash Course, for instance.
Crash Course is terrible.
Exactly.
I remember I never played Left 4 Dead 1. I only have it because our friend LZF wanted to play the Silent Hill map for it. So he literally bought it for me, but I've never actually played it. And when they brought all the maps over to Left 4 Dead 2, I was playing through the new ones, and I hit Crash Course and beat it in like 5 minutes. And I'm like, what was that?
Back when I played Left 4 Dead all the time, some of us just used to call that lunch break, because that's how long it took them to make it.
We need one more map to make it seem like it's okay to buy it for $50. Alright, here you go. This is what I've been working on in my spare time.
I'm only about a quarter of the way done, but
Yeah, it's not quite
ship
it's
it.
not quite complete yet, but fuck it. Whatever. It's all good. No, but that map's terrible. But yeah, there's a lot of really good custom-made stuff. Last Bach Tune was really good too, even though we couldn't beat it. But it was interesting. It was fun. Certainly memorable. But then, of course, there's Iron's Road Rash, which is... If you've ever wanted to play Left 4 Dead 2 where the entire map is a parking lot, play that.
Can't say that I've ever had that urge.
There's no spawn points on that entire map, so basically every single thing from tanks to zombies will spawn
way on the other
off.
side of the map.
Yeah, way on the other side of the map. You can literally just walk through maps without spotting a thing and get to the safe room. I love there's a safe room at the end of one of the levels that's you can get in
On both sides of the doors.
On both sides of the door, so it's completely broken. But
And then when you leave that room, you're back out where you just left.
and then what was the other one? Last Summer or something was also really bad.
Oh.
Well, it wasn't bad in the way it was.
It's
monotonous.
I'll just say this: the guy knows how to, conserve level space but expand gameplay. But you're just sitting here weaving in and out of everything, only to find out that you've taken, 5 steps.
Yeah, like
and this took you like 20 minutes. And then
there's a room you got to get to, but there's like a sandbag in front. So what you got to do is go all the way around the building to a different room, and then go in through the back way just to get to where you could have been 20 minutes ago.
And then there was one point where we just had no idea where to go. Where
the parking garage or whatever.
No, it was outside of the hotel. Remember,
That's right.
you jumped off the building.
I jumped off to get to the pool,
and
I killed myself.
And I was dead at the point. And thanks that we had the bots are smarter mod. They just kind of walk through the area.
Yeah, we just watched their little highlighted bodies walk through the maps to figure out where the hell we were supposed to go. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, they're but in all honesty, there's a lot of really good stuff out there, and it really
Fill a whole podcast on it.
yeah, it really adds to a game when you can let people make stuff. I mean, just look at Skyrim and all the ridiculous mods people do for Skyrim that, can enhance the game or just make it ridiculous. And it's all just how much fun or even Minecraft. All the different texture mods and such. Lots of fun. Anyway, so I'll move on to what I've been playing. I'll keep it relatively short because I haven't been playing too much. Been playing a lot, just not that many games. Most importantly, and I want to bring this up right away, is I finally beat Binary Domain. It was a while back I actually did this, but I just want to bring it up anyway. And I just have to say, it is one of the best games I've ever played in this generation of gaming. I was kind of lukewarm to it. I mean, I really liked it, but I didn't have like a final saying on it about how good it actually was. But the story really draws you in. The endings are different based on how you're interacting with your characters. And so I got the Fae sniper ending. I don't know, people who have played it know what ending that is, but now I'm going back through the game with a completely different set of characters just to see the next ending. And it is a lot of fun. What else have I been playing? Oh, I bought Sin and Punishment Star Successor. I've been having a blast with that on the Wii. Really, really good shooter.
Difficult as all hell.
It is very difficult. But I like that, actually. I don't mind. That's one thing I like about the games that Treasure makes, is they tend to be very difficult. And, very fun.
It makes sure it serves you its humble pie in tenfold.
Yeah, right? It will hand you your ass and you will say thank you. So that's fun. I played more Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. Really liking that game. I was lukewarm to it, same as Binary Domain, but once I got to the Bionis Knee and the story started to open up, I'm addicted to that again. So if anybody knows where the Bionis Knee is, you'll know how far I am. I'm about 4 hours into it, I guess, at this point. But I want to keep going. And let's see. Oh, I picked up a game that I've just been really enjoying on my Sega Genesis called, let me read this here because I want to make sure to get this right, Mick and Mac as the Global Gladiators on Sega Genesis, which I picked up for less than $3 at a used game store. And it's essentially a McDonald's game that makes no sense.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, right? I have to do a review of this game for a lot of reasons. One, it's completely ridiculous. Two, it's awesome and really fun. And three, the music actually is really good in it.
Did it come with a manual?
No, I just bought the loose cart because it was only $2.79.
Damn it.
Yeah, I try to buy Genesis games complete when I can find them, but they didn't have much of a selection. Hopefully tomorrow when I go back there, they'll have a couple more games in stock. But yeah, no, I really recommend that game. It's loads of fun. And also the game, you play as these two kids running around this weird, like, goo planet, blowing up weird aliens and such.
Think Booger Man.
Yeah, if you've ever played Booger Man on the Genesis or Super Nintendo, it's kind of like that. But the thing that is kind of difficult about the game is you have this gun that shoots slime, but it shoots it in a really strange arc. So, not to the degree that it's unplayable, just that it's a little bit awkward at first. And also, when you shoot your gun, it actually knocks your character back a little bit on the platform, so you have to be very careful not to just unload, because you can very easily forget that you get knocked back and fall into a pit or something. It's quite difficult, but very, very fun, and I've been playing it consistently. So, if you happen to see that game out and about, pick it up. It's loads of fun. And and the last game that I've been playing, I'll just wrap it up on this one, is a game called Tokyo Jungle on the PlayStation 3. And it's a downloadable game. I don't generally go and buy these downloadable titles because they tend to be pretty expensive for not a lot of content. Like, you'll spend $10 on an arcade game that you'll spend half an hour with, and it just doesn't seem right. But I kept seeing reviews of this game and screenshots, and it just looked just too interesting to pass up. Essentially, you play as various animals during a post-apocalyptic event in Tokyo. And so you'll start out as, I think they give you a Pomeranian dog to start with, and you can go around and you have to be constantly eating and keeping track of where the food is and what objectives you have to complete. It's actually surprisingly addictive, and you have to mate and actually carry on your lineage, and all of your stats that you got from the previous generation will carry over. So it's so much fun. I unlocked a gazelle, I think, and a cat and other things.
Yeah, moving forward. Progress.
Yeah. I went from a deer to a gazelle, so that's something.
No, it's just my favorite quote of that is, "So you mean I can take a chicken and kill a lion with it?"
Yeah, pretty much. If you're careful about it, you can do it. And yeah, that's exactly it. Like, you can eventually you unlock like polar bears and lions and tigers and velociraptors and just a whole bunch of ridiculous things. It's very addictive. It's very simple. There's not a lot to really figure out, so long as you can keep track of what objectives you're going after and where you are on the map. Oh, and of course staying away from things that are bigger than you, which is because over time, time will pass very quickly. I think like a year in game passes in about 2 minutes or so. So games don't last long. I mean, you will die very quickly if you don't keep track of things. And it's just, so much fun. That's one thing, is a lot of people complain that you get hungry way too quickly in that game, but if you take into account that a year passes in 2 minutes, it makes sense that you have to constantly be eating or constantly be keeping track of food. It's also what keeps you migrating to the more difficult parts of the game, because the population of animals will change based on how many years have passed. So even though you dominate a certain area, eventually, because you dominate that area, it's going to become scarce to find food in. So you have to move to a new area, and it's constantly throwing challenges at you. I remember I was running around in the sewers as a bunch of cats, because when you actually proceed forward generational with animals, you actually end up getting a pack together. And I ended up running into a couple of wolves and 2 panthers, which then slaughtered me. So, tons of fun, really simple game, highly recommend it. It is $15 or $14.99. I always find that really annoying with PSN games, is that they're not just a straight number, because when you have to buy like a PlayStation card, they come in round denominations, like $20, $50, but then the games are $14.99, $5.99, so you always have this penny sitting in your wallet that just annoys me. But no, I highly recommend the game. It's lots of fun. It's very addictive, so I don't know, check it out. It's kind of quirky and has a pretty good sense of humor to it. I mean, anytime a Pomeranian can literally beat a beagle to death, it's kind of fun. Oh, and I ran into chimpanzees last time I played it, which is something I hadn't come across before, and those are always fun to try to fight. That is about everything I've been playing. Not a lot of games, but I have been playing them quite consistently. So anything else you guys want to talk about?
Nope, I'm good.
You don't want to talk about like white crumbly cheeses this time?
Yeah, we could do. Have we got another 45 minutes to kill?
Nah, I think we should just wrap it up. Alright.
We'll save that for next time.
Yeah, next time we will talk about white crumbly cheeses. So, do join us on Jab's new show, Cheese Talk, which is a podcast all about Wallace and Gromit and his love of cheese.
All cheese, all the time.
Alright. As always, I'm your host, Marauder, with my hosts, Phoenix923 and Jab. And thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you all next time.
Later.
Toodaloo.